In the year 2000, I had received my very first Disneyland annual pass as a gift, and shortly after, I went on a trip to Disneyland with my friends. The very first thing I wanted to go on was my all-time favorite ride, the Haunted Mansion. I loved the ride so much, I even did research on the ride to figure out all the secrets and techniques they used for all the effects. I also memorized the song so I could sing along throughout the ride. So I finally got to the Haunted Mansion and got in line. So far, everything was the same as always, except for one thing. When I got to the pet cemetery part of the ride, for some odd reason, the frog's tombstone was missing, and instead of it, there was another tombstone that read, "Seth, forever here." This kind of bothered me. It seemed out of place, and it wasn't one of those family-friendly puns that Disney makes all the time. But I ignored it, thinking it was a new part of the ride. Eventually, I got inside the mansion. So far, nothing else being out of the ordinary. The waiting room is still just a waiting room. The ghost host still says the same line as he always does. Then I go into the stretching room part of the ride, and all seems normal until the part with the room goes dark. You can see the skeleton hanging himself as usual, but when the lights go out, I saw a ball of light hovering around the ceiling. I knew this wasn't normal because at this point the room should be pitch black. Then, just before the lights turned back on, the ball of light morphed itself into a shape of a skull and disappeared as the lights turned back on. This was not normal. As we walked outside the room and into the hall of the transforming portraits, I asked my friends about the lights and none of them saw it. At this point, I thought I was imagining things. We all got on the ride and nothing seemed out of the ordinary until the ballroom scene with all the holographic ghosts. I smiled and enjoyed the happy ghosts dancing and celebrated the lady's birthday, but something wasn't right about the scene. I looked up and saw the most horrifying thing I've ever seen in my life. The glass that you see the ghost animatronics reflections off of was broken, and there was a dead body on the floor in a pool of blood by the dinner table. My friends and I freaked out and all the other passengers screamed. The ride stopped and the lights turned on and an announcement was made on the loudspeakers.
Disneyland thanks you for your visit. Please evacuate the attraction in an orderly fashion. A cast member will be with you shortly to assist you with the evacuation. Thank you.
As we were evacuating the ride, we had to walk all the way to the place where you exit the doom buggies and get off the ride. At the ride's exit, we heard what sounded like a child crying even though there were no children around. I saw a bunch of ambulances outside the Haunted Mansion ride along with the police officers standing outside the ride. I walked up to talk to one of the police officers, and he told me the victim's name was Seth.